Andrew Tate never disappoints, and his latest conversation, this time on the Just Pearly Things podcast, is just a reality check for modern-day women. If he has gotten so influential in such a short time, there must be a reason. Well, in this case, there are lots of reasons. He has helped multiple men become better in every regard, including but not limited to fitness, finances, and especially mindset. As much as he can be controversial when conveying his message, that's not important because what matters is the content, not the form. As they say, it's the message, not the messenger. Despite this practical piece of advice, many people still prefer to call Andrew intolerant, misogynistic, and every adjective that can come to your mind. It doesn't matter because, as a smart man, your duty is to be practical, and that often implies acquiring new beliefs and removing others. As Tate says, I refuse to believe something that takes power away from me. For example, when you give power to a cheating woman, you can only think about her, but once you realize you're better off alone than with a 304, suddenly everything starts falling into place. And of course, if a woman gives power to all her exes, who happen to be abusers or used her for intimacy, she can only think that men ain't shit. The list of examples is long, but you get the idea. Speaking of which, Andrew was sensational in the podcast and gave multiple examples to prove his points. Indeed, it was an interesting conversation where multiple perspectives were shared. It was far from being an echo chamber, and if you watch the entire show, you'll be able to learn many knowledge bombs that will help you grow as a man, no matter your walk of life. In this video though, I'll share with you some of the highlights of the show, including some truths that annoyed modern-day women, and advice that men can utilize to better navigate this insane world we live in today. Stick around, because I'm sure you're going to love this one. But before we go deeper, a special shout out to Bill Wark 135 for being a loyal subscriber and for even sending us memes that we may or may not have used on the community page. Go check them out. And while I'm at it, let me share the comment of the day. Shout out to Noob Cybot. He said, a relationship used to be an upgrade for both parties, but now it's a free wallet for her and a severe downgrade for him. Well said. Things are not what they used to be, and you need to be careful, possibly even reconsider how you go about the topic of marriage. As usual guys, I'll pick one comment from each video. It may be the funniest, the most liked, or one that touched me, so don't forget to leave a comment and you may be our next winner. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons too, as it helps us out a lot. We're almost hitting 10,000 subscribers, so please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Now, back to the video. Embrace your masculinity. Apart from Andrew Tate and the host Pearly, there were 3 younger women either 30 or around that age, and a 54-year-old woman called Jenny that dropped some gems too. One of the guests, by the way, is Renner, an internet celebrity with over 4.5 million followers on Instagram and, as she confesses, lots of emotional baggage. More on that last bit in a minute. As much as 2 of the young women said from the get-go that they wanted to fight against Tate's perspicacity and eloquence, they ended up liking him on a personal level. They thought he was good-looking, straightforward, and even a high-energy guy. They indeed realized that believing what they see on the internet and judging a person by watching a few bite-sized clips is never a good idea. Even though we're bombarded with the idea of being tolerant, many people, especially modern-day women choosing a partner, still cannot live up to that. Anyway, what happens in the first 5 minutes is absolutely telling. In particular, I mean what Auntie Jenny said about today's world and what her intention was. She clearly stated that if you've got something to say, it's better that you don't beat around the bush and say things to her face. That's indeed a straightforward way of thinking, plus she was on the show specifically for cutting the bullshit. Of course, so did Andrew, as he often does. The first question made to the guests was about the biggest problems men and women are facing today. What Jenny said was simply that men don't tell women the truth and women can't handle the truth, which Andrew considered a very good paradigm to start. He then mentioned a hardcore fact of today's world, which is simply how quickly the divide is taking place in all facets, including money and of course women. For those aware of the current state of the world, of course, you accepted this in one way or the other. Not only does a minority of men easily get a majority of women, but most average men have a hard time in the dating marketplace. It so happens that the middle class is fading and there will be no middle ground in many aspects. In order to navigate this crazy world, as a man, you must position yourself properly to make the most of the situation. For instance, instead of impregnating women and getting financially ripped off in divorce court, it's much better to not commit to any modern woman or just go your own way. Fairly simple, right? Andrew mentions that women tend to ask for just quote-unquote simple stuff that ends up being a long-ass list of requirements that most men can offer. Ticking all the boxes is indeed very hard, but once a man ticks the honesty box, the chick does not like honesty anymore. Still, some people wonder why MGTOWs say that women don't really know what they want. After making his point, Renner said that both genders had to face a problem with self-accountability, which is partly true. Andrew responded that women don't hold themselves accountable, which is quite right, and men have to face the consequences of the lack of self-accountability sooner or later. In fact, according to Andrew, an arrogant man that doesn't really have anything to offer to the world quickly realizes that he gets no women and stays broke, whereas a woman like that is likely to get dates and, of course, male validation. What do I say all the time on my channel? Just that, and as much as it may seem offensive, modern day women can get a lot of guys easily, even if they've got very ugly personalities and below average looks. Since many men are still plugged in and accept any chick because they've got no better options, they are happy with a low quality woman. That's why as a man, your responsibility is to become the best version of yourself in every facet, and women will be nothing but a bonus. But the choice will be yours. You guys know I prefer MGTOW over girls, but it's up to you. Speaking of which, as I'm a man of my word, let me tell you why Brittany herself acknowledges that she's got lots of emotional baggage. In a one-on-one conversation with Pearly, she confessed that she regrets all her bad choices, especially allowing herself to be used by men. She further said that this came from a lack of self-worth, and what else? Yes, seeking validation. Do you remember that once a woman hits the wall, she tends to switch to some kind of spirituality? I mean, those women that, after sleeping with multiple men, go on dating apps saying that the past does not matter, she's ready to settle down, etc. Well, Brittany now has a half-year-old kid, and she's known for her promiscuous past. In that interview, she called intimacy spiritual unification, and here's the interesting part. No matter your beliefs, it's obvious that intimacy is the act that creates life, and modern society has brainwashed both men and women to make them think it is a kind of prize for doing good things. I'm pretty sure you've heard the line, men get sex from women and women get attention from men multiple times. That's the way it is, and as long as both parties get what they want, that means they're doing their part according to this modern paradigm. Anyway, Brittany further declares that when she thinks of the list of men she slept with, it's just repulsive because they didn't deserve it. You guys know the drill, right? Imagine that you want a woman so badly, and you know she's got a promiscuous past, and by extension, you can easily take her to your apartment. Will you put up with her saying that she wants to take things slowly? Of course not. Are you telling me that I'll have to wait while other men could potentially sleep with you without making my efforts? Fuck outta here. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but I think I'm getting my point across, right? Some men that were rejected in the past are now way sexier, stronger, and richer. Suddenly, former classmates and married women want them, but these guys are increasingly aware of the game. If she says she's ready to settle down after getting banged, that's nothing but a red flag. Escape immediately. At the very least, I do want to admit that Brittany was honest, and by the way, when she introduced herself, she was eager to learn something new, which Tate did in the interview, which I'll link in the description by the way. Brittany said that the repulsive list is an outcome of her discounting her worth. That's indeed straight honesty, and I applaud her for that. She even calls her emotional baggage spiritual ties, which is arguably a good way of putting it. Come to think of it, when you meet a woman that happens to talk excessively of her exes, she's just tied to the past and unable to live in the present. And to wrap this up, she even felt like used goods. Can't get more honest than that. Anyway, this podcast was very long and interesting, and I've just covered a tiny bit of it. I plan to drop another video about this because there are many knowledge bombs that Andrew dropped on the show. If you'd like to see another analysis of it, just let me know. For the time being, just keep in mind that even though modern women tend to be delusional, your responsibility at the end of the day is simply improving yourself, and once you evolve, women might come your way, and the decision of accepting them or not is completely yours. Stay strong, guys. As always, I wish you tremendous success. Now it's your turn. What do you think? What other gems Andrew dropped are worth mentioning to you? What do you think about Britney confessing that she regrets her past as a 304? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember that if you leave the best comment, you will get $5. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video useful, hit the like and subscribe buttons, ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads, drop a comment, and share it. See you in the next video. Till next time.